Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to First and Den10 on the North Texas Streaming Network. Week 3 of high school football is now behind us. We had 2 games here at Carrico Stadium over the weekend with the Broswell Bengals and the Denton High Broncos. Now, both teams were looking to add another win of their records of 1-1. We'll start with the Broswell Bengals, who faced off against the Royce City Bulldogs. The Bengals, who lost last week against the Eaton Eagles, were looking to rally against the Bulldogs, who were still searching for their first win. Luckily, I've got my boy Jay Lathon here in the studio to show us how it went. What's up, Jay?
Well, Seth, it was a tale of two teams in two halves when it came to the Broswell Bengals and the Royce City Bulldogs. Let's go to those highlights. Starting off, we're going to have the backup running back, Zahir Trufant, who's going to take it in for the 19-yard touchdown rush. That's going to be 7-0 Bengals. And this rushing attack is fearless, as it's going to be spearheaded right now with Jeremiah Shipp, who's going to pull it, and he's going to take it down the sideline. And he might go all the way if it wasn't for the safety coming across the field to stop the touchdown. That's a 60-yard rush, which is going to set up their main man, Moses Adalowo, for the 3-yard touchdown run, making it 14-0 Broswell. And they weren't done, as Moses Adalowo is going to take it right here, go through and find a block, and he splits through the defense and goes to the promised land, making it a 52-yard touchdown run. And that's now 20-0 as they'll miss the field goal. And Royce City had to find a response here. And it's going to be quarterback Richardson finding Cordarian Powell on a 29-yard touchdown pass. That's going to make it 20-7. Broswell still with the lead, though. And they want to establish a little bit more, as it's going to be Trufant once again who's going to find his way in the end zone. And they will score 26-7 as they miss the 2-point conversion. And from here on out, it is all Royce City, as that's going to be Xavier Watson with the 4-yard touchdown run, making it 26-13, cutting into that deficit. And they're going to keep on pushing. This is going to be Jamion Richardson, who's going to find Thomas Neville for the 20-yard touchdown pass. And that's going to be 26-20 Broswell. And they're going to have to make some big-time plays here. So they're going to go for it on 4th and 8. And that's going to be a 15-yard pass converted here, which is going to keep this drive alive for the Bulldogs. And Jamion Richardson is going to lead this comeback here, as he's going to roll out, and he's going to find his man Cross Joplin for the 24-yard touchdown pass, and that's now going to even it up at 26 apiece. And man, oh man, it does not get any better for the Broncos, as Mecca Nawahi is going to slip off a defender here. He's going to reverse his direction, and that was a terrible idea, as the Bulldogs are going to swarm him in the defense in the end zone for a safety. Final score here is going to be Royce City 36, Broswell Bengals 26. Man, Seth, and I mean, a tale of two halves, bro. The box score definitely has to show that. Seth, can you explain some of those stats that went on in this game?
Yeah, Jay, I'm not sure what happened in the second half for those Bengals. I mean, it was looking good in the first, and then they just absolutely choked. I mean, the rushing game that they had was dominant in that first half. In the second half, it just didn't keep up. The quarterback, Jeremiah Shipp, ended the night with 102 rush yards and 95 pass yards, while Moses Adalowo stayed having 90 rush yards with 2 touchdowns, with Zahir Trufant also having 2 rush touchdowns. Now, this whole game was just a battle of 2 elite run games once again, 570 total rush yards between both the teams. All right, now let's move on to the Denton High Broncos, who took on the Richland Royals. The Broncos were looking to build on their momentum from last week after beating the Eastern Hills Highlanders 28-6. While the Royals were looking to go 3-0 after winning their first 2 games. Jay, let's see how this one went, man.
Seth, the Denton Broncos got them a win last week, and they look to stay in the win column. So they're going to face off against the Richland Royals. Let's go out to Denton Stadium. Let's see what they got. They're going to start it off kicking it to Richland with the little pooch, and that's going to be fielded on the 20-yard line by Jalen Gordon, who's going to weave his way through the defenders, and he's going to turn on the Jets and just run by everybody. And that's a 76 opening kickoff return touchdown. And they're going to go for 2 to put a little stamp on it. It's going to be 8-0 Richland. And they weren't done here, as they're going to show a little bit of special teams matters, as they're going to get a block punt. It's going to be recovered on the Denton 7 here, which is going to lead to this next play. That's going to be Kenyon Long, who's going to take the handoff and plow his way into the end zone. That's going to be 15-0 Richland. And they weren't done yet. This is going to be quarterback Drew Cates who's going to come up to the line, make a couple audibles as he notices a mismatch that he likes. And apparently it was to the receiver outside. That's going to be Deion Jones with a 64-yard touchdown grab as he's streaking up the sidelines, and nobody's going to catch him. That makes it 22-0 Richland. And, we have to root for the home team here as we're going to find Devontae Burnett, who's going to apply some pressure and get the sack. And we aren't done as our Denton Broncos look to provide a fight of some sort, as it's going to be Josiah Marshall who's going to rush around. He's going to find the senior Cole Sanders, who's going to, our cameraman got lost here, lost in the sauce, and that's going to be a 42-yard gain, which is going to get the Broncos in the field goal range. And just when you think things are going right, wrong. It's going to get blocked by Richland, and now the score is 35-0. And here we are, Josiah Marshall once again. He's going to look to spark something for the Broncos, and that's going to be Jaden Gray with the 31-yard grab. Is he going to rip it out the Richland defender's hands? And this would unfortunately lead to nothing. But there were some highlights still going on in this game as the Broncos are going to put up a fight of applying pressure, and that's going to be Tremario Allen, who's going to pick the Richland off. And it's going to, it's 14-0, but tries to keep them at bay. And now Terrence Lopez is in the game, trying to switch things up. And no, sir, that's not it. And that's going to be Maximus Wiley, who's going to intercept this ball, and he's going to return it all the way, 96 yards, making this 49-0 Richland. And man, oh man, talking about beating a dead horse, as Drew Cates says he wants to pad the stats a little, is he's going to move around in the box and throw it up to his receiver, and that's going to be the last touchdown of the game, making this a final score of 56-0. Man, for Denton, you got to find some positives somewhere in this game. Seth, what did the box score say that Denton High could find something positive?
Yeah, Jay, the Denton High Broncos, they just can't seem to get it together. I mean, they just need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what's going on. They had 4 rushers with negative yards and only 158 total pass yards between 2 quarterbacks, Josiah Marshall and Terrence Lopez. They got kind of a dual quarterback system going. And Cole Sanders had 78 receiving yards on only 3 catches. Maybe they need to find a way to get him going a little more, and maybe that will contribute to a little more success later on in the season. All right, that'll be it for First and Denton. Thank you for joining us. Next week, we will be back with a different type of show due to the bye weeks, and we'll see you then.